Join me as I dive into the life of Solon and see if I can figure out how this guy actually saved Athens' economy. Solon is often referred to as one of the 7 sages of ancient Greece, and for good reason. He's considered one of the most important figures in Athenian history, and his reforms had a profound impact on the city's economy and society. In this video, we're going to explore Solon's life, his reforms, and how they saved Athens from economic collapse. But before we dive into Solon's story, it's essential to understand the context in which he lived. Athens in the 6th century BCE was a city in crisis. The economy was in shambles, and the citizens were struggling to make ends meet. Solon was born into this tumultuous world, and his experiences would eventually shape his vision for a better Athens. As we explore Solon's life and reforms, we'll see how he was able to tackle the deep-seated problems plaguing Athens. From debt to social inequality, Solon's solutions were innovative and forward-thinking. He was a true visionary, and his legacy has continued to inspire leaders and economists for centuries. So, let's get started on this journey through Solon's life and see how he saved Athens' economy. Before Solon's reforms, Athens was in a state of chaos. The economy was stagnant, and the citizens were struggling to survive. One of the primary causes of this crisis was the widespread debt that had engulfed the city. Many Athenians were forced to mortgage their lands to pay off debts, which led to a situation where a small group of wealthy elites owned most of the land. This concentration of wealth led to social inequality, as the poor were forced to work on the lands owned by the wealthy. It was a vicious cycle, and one that seemed impossible to break. The citizens were unhappy, and the city was plagued by civil unrest. As the situation continued to deteriorate, the Athenians began to lose faith in their government. They felt that their leaders were more interested in maintaining their own power and wealth than in helping the common people. The crisis was so severe that it threatened to tear the city apart. The Athenians tried various solutions to address the crisis, but none of them seemed to work. They even appointed a series of leaders to tackle the problem, but each one failed to deliver a lasting solution. It was a time of great uncertainty, and many wondered if Athens would survive. The citizens were desperate for a solution, and it was in this context that Solon emerged as a leader. He was a member of the Athenian nobility, but he was different from the other aristocrats. Solon was deeply concerned about the suffering of the common people and was determined to find a solution to the crisis. As Solon began to formulate his plans, he traveled extensively throughout Greece, studying the laws and customs of other cities. He was particularly interested in the laws of Sparta, which he believed could be adapted to suit the needs of Athens. Solon's travels gave him a unique perspective on the problems facing Athens, and he began to develop a vision for a more just and equitable society. Solon's reforms were based on a simple yet powerful idea, that the power of the state should be used to benefit all citizens, not just the wealthy elites. He believed that the government had a responsibility to protect the rights of the poor and the weak, and to ensure that everyone had an equal opportunity to thrive. One of Solon's most famous reforms was the shaking off of burdens, which cancelled all outstanding debts and freed the Athenians from their mortgages. This move was highly controversial, as it challenged the power of the wealthy elites who had grown rich from these debts. However, Solon believed that it was essential to give the citizens a fresh start and to create a more level playing field. Solon also introduced a new law code, which was designed to be fair and accessible to all citizens. He established a new system of government, where power was distributed more evenly among the citizens. Solon's reforms were radical, and they challenged the traditional power structures of Athens. As Solon's reforms began to take effect, Athens underwent a remarkable transformation. The citizens, who had been struggling to survive, were finally able to breathe a sigh of relief. The economy began to grow, and trade flourished. The city was filled with a new sense of optimism and hope. Solon's reforms had a profound impact on Athenian society, and they paved the way for the city's golden age. The citizens began to see themselves as stakeholders in the city's future, and they became more engaged in the democratic process. Solon's legacy continued to inspire future generations of Athenians, and his reforms remain one of the most significant achievements in the city's history. Solon's impact on Athens' economy and society cannot be overstated. He was a true visionary, who was willing to challenge the status quo and to fight for the rights of the common people. Solon's legacy has continued to inspire leaders and economists for centuries, and his reforms remain a powerful example of how innovative thinking can transform a society. In conclusion, Solon's story is a testament to the power of courage and vision. He was a true hero, who fought against overwhelming odds to create a better world for the people of Athens. Solon's reforms continue to inspire us today, and they remind us of the importance of fairness, justice, and equality in our own societies. Thanks for watching. If you found Solon's story as fascinating as I do, let me know in the comments below. What did you find most interesting about Solon and his reforms? Do you have any other favorite historical figures who changed the course of history? Let me know, and don't forget to check out another video about influential figures in history.